I can honestly say I never thought I was going to die, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit in my speech today, just because, you know, I've been studying like Washington and Rockefeller and these prominent figures, and they talk a lot about providence and God's protection over your life. It may be a little arrogant because you watch people like Dustin Beegler that are amazing people making impact. You see them go and you're like, God, like why him? So not that I couldn't, I just have this belief that like God has a calling on my life and I'm going to do big things. So I never truly believed I was going to die, but there was one night I was like, if I'm going to die, it's tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Oberempt and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Oberempt, back here at RoofCon 5, and I've got the honor and the privilege of sitting down with my friend, I'm going to call you Infamous, the infamous Hunter Ballew. Infamous. Hunter, thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm just glad I get to see the real background. I'm kind of jealous I didn't get the actual authentic one last year that you had.
No, last year here at the conference. Yeah, we still have that wrapped up.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, our shit didn't get delivered last year, and so Lexi literally ran to Walmart and got a black backdrop and spray painted our logo on the back of it. It actually ended up being cool though.
I thought it was super authentic.
Yeah, and we got people to sign it.
You're all fake this year.
Yeah, I know.
Boy on there.
I know, but it's super embarrassing the first time we put this up. I forget where it was at. First time we put it up, I was like, that's way bigger than I anticipated, Lexi. That's way bigger. Yeah. But it fits the space well. So
yeah,
glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me speak again. I think we impacted a couple of people, and something I talk about a lot when I'm talking to friends or people watching the show is I know what my numbers are in this, and I feel like if I keep the mentality of I don't care if there's 20 people or 2,000 people that watch this episode or watch any of my episodes, if I get to impact one, like we did something. We won, which is why I'll keep doing it. My guess is that's a similar feeling that you have when you're doing a giant fucking thing like this, right? Like you have so many people that you have to pour into, but you walk away and if you get that one, man, this changed my life moment.
Yeah, surface level, if I'm being honest, that's not how I feel. The initial feeling is, I want to impact. I want to be competitive with the biggest
initial feeling,
right?
Yeah, of course.
Like the ego side, the competitive hunter. Is that I want to be the biggest conference. I want to make the most impact. I want people to come back every year. I want to have the most vendors, like that. That's who I am, as a competitor. But funny story to loop back to our buddy Pate. That first RoofCon, dude, I'll never forget. There was 39 people there. I was super embarrassed. We had some of the best people in the industry speaking. Set up the stage, had the room, 10 vendors believed in me, came and paid money, and we got a couple dozen people to come. And towards the end of the last day, I walked up to Pate and I just put my arm around him and like, hey man, just like patted him and said, I'm really sorry, man. Like, I'm sorry I wasted your time. You came out here, and he hugged me. He said, man, all it takes is one. If we just change one life, we're good.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, the trendy thing to say, but it's true. It really is. And we left that event, and I tell this story all the time. We left that event. I didn't think I'd probably do another one because it was such a failure in my eyes.
Yeah.
And then all the people, there was 39 people there. 38 of them were posting online about how it was the best conference they'd been to in the roofing space.
Yeah.
And so we said, all right, let's run it back next year, and went from 39 to 881.
And that was Houston.
And Houston in 2020 during COVID, 10 vendors to 50 vendors. And now growing to over 5,000, we hit 5,200 is the number I got last on Ticket Spice. But
amazing.
It's super cool to see, man. And like at our core, when we sit down and we think about it, we humble ourselves. That's the truth, because you could impact, as corny as it sounds, the next Tony Robbins, the next John Maxwell could be walking around here as a kid, 18 years old, a new sales rep at one of these companies, and he's impacted by one of our speakers, by your session, by talking to people here in the Expo Center. So yeah, man, it's really cool to hear the stories for the next 12 months. It's so much work. Like, people can't understand how much work it is for a 3-day event all year.
All year.
We have a full-time staff working on this event all year.
Yeah.
And then in 3 days, it's gone.
Right.
So during the event,
it's like the Kentucky Derby.
It's maybe not that much.
But you know what I mean? It's like but they train.
I tell people it's our Super Bowl.
Then it's over.
Yeah.
Right.
Our team, I just always say, hey, it's our Super Bowl. It's our Super Bowl. And our like kickoff or little moto kickoff with the whole team. I'm like, listen, we got 72 hours, guys. That's it. 72 hours. When you get tired, when you get pissed at a vendor because they're being a jerk or an attendee or whatever, be useful. Have joy. Don't let anyone steal your joy, because I promise you there are 500 to 1, maybe 1,000 to 1 people here that are happy about the event, and you're changing their life compared to the people that are pissed, and you're never going to make them happy anyways. That's okay.
Right. So the best story I heard last night when I was sitting at dinner was when Diego came and sat down and said that when he came back and he picked out his office, that everybody made sure to take all the Post-it notes of all the complaints, right, to throw them on his fucking wall. And I was like, man, but my comment at first was, man, that had to be hard. And he's like, nah, I wasn't part of it the year before.
All right, I guess I got to switch him out this year for somebody else.
Right, that's what he was like, I'm fucking out. He's like, you ain't gonna see me for 3 weeks after this fucking shit's done.
No, I know.
So you've had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you can tell, since you lost 130 fucking pounds. Like I was shocked. Like, because in videos and stuff, like when we see each other, like you still just look like Hunter, right?
Yeah.
But when I show up and see you, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like you're still alive. So let's rewind a little bit. So you did a I don't know what you call it, but you did a trip to Africa.
Yeah.
It ended up being a business conference, but there was obviously a lot more involved in that. Tell me why you decided to do that. Yeah,
so in April of this year, we had the Against Average member retreat for Revolt. You were there.
Was that the cold one?
No, it wasn't too bad. That was Man in the Arena in December last year.
That was fucking cold.
Austin.
Austin. Okay,
Texas.
yeah.
And Jeff Battles was there, the guy that did sessions
at the Jewish
morning.
camp.
Yeah, at the Jewish camp.
Yeah, we couldn't have pork. Yeah.
Ironic, but had to go off site for some good Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
No, but Jeff Battles was there, started talking about some mission work he does over there. He works with some of the villages, some of the schools there, and then also what they call the ghetto. Like they call it the ghetto. It's just
the whole thing's a ghetto, isn't it?
Most of the kids, like a lot of the kids in the ghetto, what they call the ghetto, which is just like run down.
Yeah.
You can't even call them houses, like shacks and stuff. Sewage running through the streets. They literally have ditches, and then they put pieces of wood over them so you don't fall in. And literally while I was there, about 10 minutes into us getting there, a kid was running across it and board broke and he fell right down into the sewage. So me and one of the African guys ran towards him to yank him up. And man, it's crazy to go there and to see these kids, see these adults. I got to meet a lot of people, thousands of people, because we did a business conference. We did some like praise and worship stuff at night. We went to some churches and hung out, listened to different speakers. But it's crazy to see these people that have no opportunity in comparison to what we have.
Yeah.
No opportunity for growth, to better their life. Very, very little, if none, especially out there in the ghetto or the villages. But they're happy.
Yeah, I had 2 people tell me that.
Dude, like what
the fuck are you happy about?
It took me 24 hours. Leading up to it, not to get religious, but like I just kept praying for conviction on my mission, and for God to convict me about what I do and my mission, and to push me when I leave there, give me something to push me harder. And He did. Like whether you're religious or not, for me, He did. Whatever you want to call it, universe, for me, it's God. When we left there, our vision for 2024 and the foundation blew up, man.
Yeah.
Like it went from, hey, let's do a couple more Life 101s next year, to we're doing one in every state. We're getting coaches. Coolest thing yesterday during the lunch, I gave a little rah-rah, got everybody fired up, and we had 88 people sign up to be a coach just in our platinum lunch yesterday. It was like half the room, third of the room. So it was super cool. But yeah, man, just to see those people have nothing over there but be happy says everything about us. When I came home, I was like, dude, I don't want to hear shit from any American complaining about politics, religion, race, any of that stuff. I could get pretty
fired up.
That, and I don't want to go all political and stuff. But
No, but it makes you appreciate.
Yeah.
Right?
It
makes you appreciate what you have.
All these movements we have in America, I'll keep it generic. All these movements we have in America, and they think they're doing something. If you actually care, get your ass over there and do something for them.
Yeah.
You have no clue the privileges we have here in America, how good we have it here in America. We're so blessed, man. We're so blessed. I'm not saying it can't be better. I'm not saying we shouldn't continue to evolve, but you go, every American.
But everybody needs to put shit
country
in perspective, I think is the word.
And that's how you do it. You go over there. My kid will go over there. Probably going to wait a little bit longer now that second half.
Smart.
I begged Maggie to go with me. She was like, babe, I just think maybe both of us shouldn't go. And now I'm like, you're right on that one.
You're a smart woman. Because at the end of the day, you got fucking sick.
Yeah.
You came home, and this is what surprised me. I didn't know this. I was talking to JP last night a little bit about it. And for people that don't know, Hunter ended up getting malaria because that's what fucking happens when you go to Africa. But I didn't know, like, he started telling me about the science behind it, right? And how, like, it gets in you and it starts picking, and then all of a sudden it just fucking goes, right? And it took 2 weeks almost. Like, that's wild, because to me, in my brain, just because I don't know anything about that disease, you would think like, oh, I got a little you know what I mean? Like, I got a little cough, maybe my temperature's going up a little bit. And he was like, within a matter of minutes, he was like, I was 98.6 and I was 104.
Yeah, dude.
Like, is that how you experienced it as well?
Yeah, so mine, I kind of just thought it was flu or COVID or whatever, but it was just wild because we know the exact moment we got it.
Yeah.
Because the entire trip until the last night, we went to this nice steakhouse. There was mosquitoes flying everywhere in the air. They never were like getting close to us though. That's the first time I saw mosquitoes.
So where was there a nice steakhouse?
There's actually a nice
near Shit River,
it was in the middle of nowhere, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was just a steakhouse.
There's like a little hotel, I guess.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So mosquitoes.
And so it wasn't there. We go back and we're hanging out with some Africans that were with us, and they started lighting up our feet. We had flip-flops on, and we got it at 3 a.m. We were up till 3 a.m. They were lighting up our feet. That's the first time I'd gotten bitten. The second time I'd seen them, and I was like, oh crap, hopefully, surely not, right? Like, but we were getting lit up. We were going like this constantly in a circle of us, me and JP, and some other people were too. And we went home that morning. It was 3 a.m. We get up, we go home. It was the very end of the trip. 2 weeks later.
It was the day before you left.
3 a.m. of the day we left.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. We woke up, went to bed late, like 4, got to bed like 4, woke up like 8, left, flew back. And then the exact same day, 2 weeks later, me and JP started feeling sick on like a Saturday.
The same day.
Yeah. And then he starts texting me. He starts texting me, making fun of me on like Monday, because I'm doing Fearless 44, doing my lives. He's not doing it. He's like, oh, quit being a puss. I'm sick too, and I'm fine. And so by Tuesday, dude, I'm like completely wiped, dehydrated. I'm more fearful of being dehydrated. Like, I can't even hardly piss, and when I do, it's a little bit and it's straight gold.
Right.
So I just call my doctor buddy. He's kind of like a friend. And I'm like, hey man, can I come in and get an IV? He said, yeah. And not to throw him under the bus, but this funny part of the story, man, is I go in, I'm like, hey, it's probably not this, but I did just go to Africa. Yellow fever's pretty prominent, malaria, whatever. He's like, oh, no, man. Give it till next Monday, you'll be good. So
really?
So I go home, and this is crazy, dude. So I go home, Eric Mills, another Revolt member, sees my Facebook Live, and dude, the videos people saw and were saying like, you look like death. That was me trying to hold it together. You should have seen me when I was off camera.
That was the best version of you.
I'm trying to smile like delirious. He's like, you have malaria, dude. And I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, you have to stop doing Fearless 44. Quit working out. I'm like, I'm good. I'm not stopping. I got to lead all these people. Yeah. Everyone's doing it. And finally, he texts me back this long message. He's like, listen, 2 years ago, buddy goes with me to Uganda, comes back, gets malaria, thinks it's nothing, finally goes to the hospital. The hospital is like, oh no, brushes it off. He died.
Dead.
So I send that screenshot to my doctor. He kind of gets a little like, I don't know, gets his feelings hurt because he's like, I'm not brushing it off. And he used this term. He said, when I hear hoof steps, I look for horses, not zebras, meaning I look for the most common thing, which in most cases
is right.
Probably makes sense, but I just gone to Africa.
Right.
And I actually appreciate his holistic approach because I don't like medicine. I've never been to the hospital. I don't freaking like hospitals.
But he also knew you went to Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next day, Wednesday, I'm like, I don't want to say I was dying and be, you know, all weird and exaggerate, but Mags was super worried about me.
Really?
Like, I'm literally laying in the shower just, like I'd have chills 1 second, uncontrollable. She took some videos. I still haven't watched them because I'm like, why the hell did you take videos? But I'm like shaking uncontrollably. My jaw, I can't control and then I'd just be burning up and sweating all over the bed. It was wild. And so I go to the hospital, and within like 2 hours, they're like, yeah, you got malaria. It's the worst kind of the 4.
It's the worst kind of the 4.
Yeah, there's 4 tops. Me and JP naturally had to get the worst kind. I mean, we're all in kind of guys.
Yeah.
Full experience.
Yeah, we're not doing that pussy malaria.
No.
Nah, we're all in.
So we do that, 3 days treatment, get out, and I'm trying to make the rest quick. We get out. 2 weeks goes by, I never feel better. Like, I felt better than I did in the hospital, but I'm still like, I can't do anything. I can't hardly walk without getting out of breath. And they told me that I'd feel rough because the medicine they give you is toxic. Oh. And then about 2 weeks later, maybe 10 days later, I start getting the symptoms bad again. And so I try to tough it out for like another 2 days or whatever, and then we're like, it's gotta be, you know, like it's getting bad again.
Yeah.
So I go back to the hospital. This time my symptoms were worse. Just basically every symptom you can imagine. And then the first time I didn't have like shits is bad, stuff like that. The second time, just everything you could imagine. And so I get back to the hospital, they're like, oh no, it's nearly impossible you'd have malaria again. Like, we checked your blood, it said 0.0. But dude, how many gallons of blood do you have? I don't know, a couple gallons of blood? And they take a little sample this big, right? So yeah, maybe I didn't have malaria. And then we'll the rest of me. And I get they can't check it, but maybe check a couple different spots.
Yeah.
So sure enough, they come back, they're like, Mr. Ballew, you have malaria? And you have, they actually didn't tell me this way, they said, do you remember the outbreak from Jack in the Box a couple decades ago with E. coli? And I was like, yeah, the one that killed all those people and like people got super sick? And they're like, yeah, that one, you have that one.
So at the same time, you had malaria.
And again, I'm not trying to be dramatic.
No, but it's the story.
Said, worst malaria, worst E. coli. That's the only time I had some fears.
That's why you had the shits.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it was like, I had nothing left, bro.
Right.
I mean, I lost.
Like, where was it coming from?
I quit measuring, or I quit weighing myself at 20 pounds. Lost 2 inches of my arm, my chest, my legs, everything. Just going. I had built up to 198, cut purposely to 189, and then I quit weighing myself at 169. Yeah, this was within a couple weeks, man. So, yeah, it was wild. There was one night in the hospital where I can honestly say I never thought I was going to die, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit in my speech today, just because, you know, I've been studying like Washington and Rockefeller and these prominent figures, and they talk a lot about providence and God's protection over your life. It may be a little arrogant because you watch people like Dustin Biegler that are amazing people making impact. You see them go and you're like, God, like why him? So not that I couldn't, I just had this belief that like God has a calling on my life and I'm going to do big things. So I never truly believed I was going to die, but there was one night I was like, if I'm going to die, it's tonight. Like I couldn't breathe. It was bad, man. So I'm super thankful. A lot of perspective gained, you know. One of the things when I got out the first time, I went to a hematologist for them to check me out. It was actually in the Cancer Institute. And so I had to go sit in the Cancer Institute and watch all these people walking past me. I live in Greenville, which is a decent size area. It's not Houston, but you know, in the metro, there's like 1 million people. While I was in there, dude, I saw 2 people that I knew that had cancer. One I knew about, one I didn't know he had cancer.
Like your age?
No, one was older, one is my age.
Okay. Wow.
And so that was like, just hit me hard. The hospital I was in was right beside the Children's Hospital. So I could see like advertisements for St. Jude's and raising money for them. And yeah, dude, I don't know, it was weird. Like I got super emotional a lot in the hospital. Not even, it was never even about me. Like I wasn't worried about me. It was just thinking, it's so weird. Like thinking how grateful I was that mine's acute and fixable. and thinking about these kids and these other people and my friends that I saw in the Cancer Institute that like have to live with that for years. Or maybe life, or maybe it takes their life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, huge wake-up call to me, man. Made me feel super grateful, and also not allow myself to feel sorry for myself.
Right.
And then the second part of that, and I'll quit talking.
No, you're fine.
Is just so grateful for amazing friends, man. Like, you know, there's a saying about how many people are going to show up to your funeral. And it was so cool, man, to get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages of people checking in. And so I was so thankful. And then I come here, and like so many people I don't even know, like I couldn't even say their name, and I feel shitty about that, but you know, walking up to me and talking about how they prayed for me and how their church prayed for me, and just, dude, just so grateful, man. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I was actually talking to Ty this morning. We were getting coffee, and we were bringing up your experience and how both of us are the fucking worst at reaching out to people. And I sent you a text when you were laid up, and I was like, I'm really bad at this. I don't never know when and when not to reach out to people that are going through something, because there's times when I am, and I'm just like, everybody leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. Right? And and I don't want to be bothered. But then in the same breath, I put myself in that position, and I'm like, how sad I would be if nobody was actually checking, because how many people come to your funeral? Yeah. Right? I mean, that's a real thing. And it, like, after I messaged you and I admitted how inadequate and how awkward I am when it comes to that, like, I can't go to funerals. Right? Like, I don't know what to say.
I hope you'll come to my funeral.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I will, but like, I'll tell jokes and shit, right? Like, but like, you go to a funeral, like, I'm not the guy that's like, oh, my condolences. Somebody fucking wrote that somewhere. Right. You know what I mean? And like, I don't ever know how to like really explain and like show how much I care about that person through a text, because it seems artificial. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Ty and I were talking, we were both like, man, I wanted to literally jump on a fucking plane and just go show up to see how you were, because we both looked at each other and we're like, because you know what? I bet Hunter would if it was us. Yeah. Right?
And I appreciate that.
That's why my point of saying all that is that when you impact people and you have this opportunity, and you've been given this opportunity through the hard work and everything that you've done to be able to change people's perspectives and change people's lives and give them opportunities to do things that they maybe didn't think were possible in the beginning. You talk so much about legacy, like, that's fucking legacy to me, right? Is when you impact people's lives and you change people's lives by speaking into them and pouring into them, right? Because that's your fucking energy, and you've got this much of it, and you have to decide where it goes. And such a large portion of it needs to go to your kids and needs to go to your wife, right? And then you have to choose when it goes other places. Like, I mean, I have to choose when it goes other places, and sometimes I feel pretty fucking guilty when I give it to Bill. Right? Because he's a fucking drunk, and I want to help the drunk, right? And I feel like sometimes I'm choosing him over my daughter, because God knows she wants me there and probably deserves me more than he does. But you know what? Somebody helped me, right? When I needed it. And you do the same thing in a different space and in a different world. And that's why you had so many people praying for you. That's why you had so many people come up and reach out to you, because you're actually making a difference. That's why I wanted you to be on the show again, because we didn't get into enough last time about talking about making a difference, like actually making a difference in other people's lives. Because anybody watching this that believes that you're here for you and you alone, fuck you. Like that's just
shallow. It's selfish, and
But they're just not self-aware enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe they are, and they're just fucking sociopaths,
and I would
right?
take it a level deeper.
Yeah.
And this may hurt some feelings, but if you think that you're here for just your family,
yeah.
You know how many guys come to a Revoltex retreat and we're conditioned to say, I do everything I do for my family.
Right.
Guess what? They don't give a shit about the money. I watched all those people in Africa, and you know how many of those kids had a dad and a mom together? I did not, dude, I met thousands of people while I was there. I did not meet one single couple with a child.
Really?
I met hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, man. We were holding events with thousands of people. I met hundreds of single moms that were coming up and praying for their children, praying for their kids to be able to get education and go to school, because over there you got to pay for it.
Right.
Like, it ain't free. You got to pay for it. And so,
I know these the areas that Eric was talking or was it JP that like girls can't go to school?
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
That made me really mad.
Yeah,
that made me really
super
fucking
sad,
mad.
And just to rewind for a minute too, like, so to finish that point though, so many guys come to a retreat and they stand on their high horse and they think it's the cool thing to say, an honorable thing to say, because we've been conditioned.
Yep.
I'm not saying, you're an idiot or anything like that. I'm just saying you should have some awareness and think about it, because you're being shallow, you're being selfish if you only take care of your family. There's other kids out there who don't have a daddy.
Right.
They don't have a mama. Who's going to step up and help them? I was that kid. I tell the story of one of my ex-girlfriend's dad who had an opportunity to lead me and he didn't. And what it taught me 10, 15 years later was to look for opportunities to lead. I meet kids all the time that are a pain in the ass, and I don't want to be around them because they're hellions. And I have to remind myself, there's kids on my son's soccer team. It's an opportunity to lead. It's an opportunity to lead. And because I preach it so much to other people, I got to do it, man.
Right.
Like, I got too big of a conscience to not do it.
Yes.
But to rewind for a second, we were talking about energy and who you give it to. 2 years ago, man, I got my biggest lesson ever on capacity. Just understanding we only have so much capacity. You're right. Energy, capacity, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you only have so much. I learned that. And you got to have, next thing that I'm learning right now, and these tie together, is discernment. Discernment. Who are you going to give your time to?
Right.
Because some people aren't worthy of your time. I hate saying that.
That's an absolute fucking fact,
I freaking hate saying that as someone who values people. That's one of our core values as a family, and something I teach Turner. That's the second one. Value people, love people, pour into people. But if
you can love them and not give them your energy.
We can't help them.
Right.
If they're not willing to step up and invest in themselves, and I'm not just talking about money.
Right.
Dude, it's free to go to the freaking library and get a book.
Right.
It's free to hop on YouTube. It's free to walk around here. It's free. Just figure out how to get to Orlando.
Right.
You know how many freaking millionaires are here that you can talk to?
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Somebody could walk up and talk to you, talk to Ty Backer, talk to me. I literally posted online, said 15-minute consults. Come find me.
I saw that.
We'll do it. Grow.
Yeah.
Last night I was doing it at Topgolf. Like, there's so many people that want to pour into you, but if you're not going to actually do the work, and dude, there's some people in this industry have showed up to retreats, have asked for free tickets to RoofCon, because I do the post every year where I give away free tickets, not just Expo, general admission. But I have a hard line. I say, you can come 1 year for free. If you don't do the work through the next year so that you can have enough money to pay and pay it forward so I can do it for other people, dude, I'll lose my ass on this event. It's not like I'm making $1 million on this event. I lose every year.
Yeah.
And I'm committed to changing that. I want to make money.
Yeah.
But you got to do the work, man. And so discernment and figuring out who you're going to align with is so important.
Such a big deal.
Yeah.
My question that I asked Dylan.
Yeah.
And the only reason that I did, because I didn't even think about it, and I was at dinner the other night with somebody, and they asked me the question, and I didn't have a good answer. And the question was, why the fuck are we spending so much time and money over there when we've got so many things going on here? And it doesn't mean that we're ignoring the things here, right? But what is the mindset shift that makes you go, that's more important? Yeah. So. And I didn't have an answer.
No, I got an answer.
Okay, because I didn't have an answer. I was like, that's a good fucking question, though. Right? It is a fair question.
I got an answer that a lot of people aren't going to like, including the majority of the people in the group that went with me.
Okay.
And
then I definitely want to hear it.
Yeah. Like, I politely said it to a couple of them when we were in conversation privately. and it's something that I went back and forth on, being very direct with some of them. Money does not fix the damn problem. It doesn't. It's just like, we can get real deep here.
Go.
My dad's was proudly to say this, was a drug addict for years. Most of my, not most of my life as a kid, as a young adult, when I was like 13 to 25 or so. Important years of my life. Not very involved, and when he was involved, it felt like he was always effing stuff up for me, right? Like, it was just better for him to not be around. Why he continued to do the things he did, my grandma enabled him, giving him money, giving him money, giving him money, giving him money, giving him money. Nothing's going to change if someone continues to give you the stuff and enable you to do the thing that you shouldn't be doing.
Correct.
So we go over there as Americans, what do? We give them money.
Give them money.
We give them money. We give them money.
Give them guns.
We give them this. We give them whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't change until a couple things. Two main things. Their leadership changes and their values change. And that's probably, the values is probably core. It's probably number one. You almost got a bird out of me on here because I did. I know.
Good.
You're going to crop that.
Be sure to screenshot that. Yeah.
So values probably being number one, because the values of the leadership have to change.
Right.
And the fact is, man, I probably shouldn't say this because if I ever go back, they're going to freaking find me and kill me. But I don't believe in most of those countries the leadership wants anything to change, because they get rich off of the people being.
Well, that was my comment. Was I'm surprised that if they found out that they would let you. I mean,
let you what?
Be there. Basically changing minds.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like,
I guess they just know that. Well, the thing is, you're just not. I mean, sure that you could create like a revolution, and yes, you might inspire the next kid that's the next Nelson Mandela or whatever, but the likelihood of that is so much smaller of change in a nation than actually impacting the president of the country, who then funnels down.
Right. They probably think so little of their people. Right.
Well, in Uganda, I don't know the actual numbers, but I was told that the current president, I think he's been the president for dozens of years.
How do they call that a president?
I think he's called the president.
Okay.
I think that's his title. And I was told by locals that years ago he massacred tens of thousands of people, but then he repented and became a Christian, and now he's a good guy. But most of the people still don't think he's a good guy because the country's in the state that it is. And
right.
It's really sad, man. And the reason I say nobody's gonna like that is because we left there, and I'm not hating on our boys. I love Mullins, I love Ty, I love all these guys. Ty walked up to me the second day, he looked at me, emotional, tears in his eyes. He said, "What can we do, man? What can we do to change this place?" And my answers continued to be, it ain't give them money, man. It feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good. Not as an American, as a human, because you feel like you're fixing their problem. When you see a kid hungry and you give him food, you feel like you're fixing the problem. And you are temporarily, and you should do it, right? But you're not really fixing the problem.
Right.
The root is so much deeper. We got to get down to it. So, yeah, man, it's just frustrating. You could go back, again, politics and stuff, but back in the 90s when the Clintons are sending rice to Haiti, it ruined the country because they imported all the rice, and guess what? It took away from their economy because now the people couldn't grow rice and make money because we gave them free stuff.
Right.
So all the people in business that were fueling the economy now had nothing. So when we go to countries and we give this money, and the other part of this, you're gonna get me fired up, dude.
Go.
I quit paying attention to the news and politics years ago, basically when I got into entrepreneurship, because I was like, doesn't affect my daily life.
Right.
I'm not gonna worry about it.
You can't do anything about it anyway.
But dude, I'm honestly starting to think, you know what? It doesn't affect my daily life, but at some point it is going to affect my life, my kids' life, my grandkids' life. And we got to start speaking up, dude.
Yeah.
This shit's getting out of hand. Yeah. We got to start speaking up. And I don't even remember where I was going, dang it. The government giving the $100 million to Ukraine and to Israel and whatever. This is my simplest response to that. I'm pro those countries. I'm for them, whatever. I don't think they should necessarily kill innocent people, but I understand that sometimes that happens when you're going after a terrorist group. But if we're we're 35 trillion dollars in debt right now, right?
Yeah.
The United States.
Yeah.
So if we give them $100 billion, tell me what that means. It means we printed the money.
Right.
We don't have the money to give them.
No.
It means we literally printed the money to give them. So if we're going to print money, why the hell can't they just print their own money?
Right.
That's like I keep asking people that. Nobody has an answer.
No, of course they don't.
Because, and I should say nobody has an answer. Nobody has an argument of, oh, well, they shouldn't, because it just doesn't make sense. If we're going to print the money, continue your own debt, let them print their own money and go in debt.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I don't know.
Why is that? Why can we print money but they can't?
I don't know. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating. The only thing I think we should be doing there is providing our leadership, providing support vocally to say, hey, if you do the wrong thing, Hamas, we will come. We don't want to come. We don't want to send our American boys and girls over there to die.
Right.
But if you mess around, you're going to find out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I could get fired up and talk about that, man.
I still want shirts that just say fuck around and find out.
Hey, get them done, dude. You get shirts done all the time.
Yeah, we'll get some shirts done.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out. So, last question to that story is, when you left and you came home before you almost died, do you feel like you made a difference?
No, not really. I mean, in a very micro way.
Yeah.
I'm still getting messages. If you actually looked on my Facebook page, you'll see people comment on my post now, and you can tell their African names.
Yeah.
A guy like 2 days ago made a big post supporting RoofCon because he knew it was coming up.
Yeah.
Because when I did the business conference.
But a year ago, you'd have thought that was fucking spam.
Yeah.
Fucking Nigerian prince asking for your fucking money. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's Ugandan prince.
Yeah.
But yeah, like speaking at the conference was super cool. Those people are so appreciative, so much more appreciative than Americans.
Than probably anybody here.
So in a very micro way, maybe one of those people goes on to make a massive difference in that country, and that's my prayer, dude.
So that goes literally back to exactly how we started this, though. Can you be somewhat satisfied, though, if you changed one life and there's an opportunity for that one kid or that one adult that heard what you all had to say, and they make a difference in their life and their family and their family? And
it's back to what we said about legacy, dude. That's what it is. Like, those people probably won't even know my name, their kids or the grandkids or whatever, but if we changed a little bit about them, the values, the way they think, their mindset, that was the third piece that I didn't mention. Leadership, values, mindset.
Yeah.
Dude, their mindset is broken.
Of course it is.
Dude, like oh man, it's super frustrating. Like a 30-year-old has a 6-year-old kid and they've taught them how to beg. Like we go into the ghetto, and the ghetto that we went to, again, all these shacks, sewage running through the streets, it's called the boxing ghetto. It's where Uganda has all their famous in Uganda boxers that compete in like the Olympics and stuff if they're good enough and they make it there. There's boxing bags hanging outside on this metal rack. All the kids have just nasty, old, ragged boxing gloves, and they're there hanging out, but they beg. And the second part of this is not just the begging. What drove me nuts, and I went back and forth on saying something to these people because I was like, I don't want to get stabbed, like this is their culture. I don't want to disrespect their culture, but also don't believe it's right in any kind of way. And it just kind of points to why they're like they are over there, why they don't have what we have over here. Is every time they get something, a piece of food or a snack, dude, I watched 200 kids in the ghetto. We handed out a bag of chips. They open it up, they pour the chips in their hand, and without thinking about it, one motion, throw the trash on the ground. And there are hundreds of scattered pieces of trash on the ground. And I hate littering. Like, I'm not some climate change freak or anything like that. It's just respect, right? Yeah. Like, I can't, when I see someone even throw a cigarette out of the car, it drives me up the wall and I'll beat my horn at them.
Right.
So, drives me nuts. And to see these kids with that mindset, but also these leaders that we're hanging out with that are supposed to be the leaders and the good guys, helping these kids that don't have parents, they just let them do it. They didn't say nothing. And so it's just like I'm sitting there like cringing, like, oh, don't say anything, don't say anything. So when I spoke in front of the biggest crowd, thousands of people, I tied it into my speech
Did
in
you?
a very non-intrusive way. Yeah, where I talked about mindset and like, I was just like, it starts with dads being dads and trying to stay with the mom and taking care of the child and not running off on the child. It starts with picking up trash and not leaving stuff. So yeah, I tied it in because I could not say something, dude. It was just eating at my soul all week.
Right.
But yeah, man, mindset, values, leadership have to change. Money will not solve it. And that's everywhere, dude. That's not over there, just over there. That's in the streets here in Orlando, in New York City, in Boston, in Chicago, in Houston, and LA, even in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, we have an issue. And so when we got over there, man, I felt so called to try to make a difference. I reached out to the Revolt chat. I don't even know if you saw this. And of course, we charge $5,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 for. I don't even know what it's listed for now. The Revolt course, and members get it when they pay to join Revolt, which is a lot of money. $30,000 for the year. They get that as a part of it. I said, hey guys, I know that you guys pay money for this, and I don't want to devalue it or make you feel any type of way. But these people need it, man. Like, they need it and they can't afford to pay anything, right? And I don't want to give it to them because it's the same thing. Are they going to value it if they get it for free?
Right.
But I felt very called in that moment to give it to them. So I called my team. We set up an entire funnel, built out a program through the Revolt Foundation.
For people down there?
For people anywhere.
Oh.
So my goal with this is, I told you about the Revolt Foundation. We have a goal to hit 50 states this year with our program Life 101 to impact kids. We also built out the Revolt course for the Revolt Foundation. So right now, they can go to that page, they can log in and have access to all of the training that you guys pay $30,000 for.
Right.
So pretty cool to do that.
That's awesome.
There's been people going through it. Hopefully that'll make a difference. You never know, maybe not, but again,
But it might with one. It might with one.
One goes through it, makes a difference, starts a business, starts to see some change, make some change in their country.
Yeah.
It was worth it. So really cool to get that up, get it live. And the second half of that, I've told the group, is we kind of position the nonprofit, because it was originally called Cornerstone Kids, sold Cornerstone, and decided to change it to the Revolt Foundation. Is that course is so impactful and really for older folks, not 8-year-olds.
Right.
When you walk into a gas station, you start chatting it up with the cashier. She's a nice chick, 26 years old, rough past, you can tell it. She's got a kid, she's a single mom, she's working at this gas station for $8, she's scraping by, she doesn't know what she's gonna do with her life. You give her the link to the course and you say, hey look, I can't make you do the work, but here it is. If you're willing to put in the time,
here's all the
you
info.
ain't got to go search YouTube for the thousands of videos and discernment, try to figure out who's legit, who's not. This is legit. This has made people millions and millions of dollars. You were at the dinner last night, 1 to 9 million, 7 million to 26 million, story after story of guys who have gone through the course and been changed. Give it to that cashier for free, so she can change her life if she actually wants to.
Yeah.
So that's our mission, man. We want to get it out there and change lives.
Dude, I love that. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being my friend. You know how I knew that we're really friends? Was last night when he told me I had a booger on the outside of my nose.
I didn't get it though, so not family yet.
No, not family, but nonetheless, that's what I was like, oh, we're close.
Yeah.
Because I only tell people they have boogers on their face if like we're actually close to be able to open up that can of worms. So thank you for the
I
booger.
do have one request before we get off.
Go.
Can we not name this one Goat Effer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we didn't talk about goat fucking, so we won't have
Did
to.
we last time?
Yeah, we did. You did.
I don't think so.
No, we called it goat fucker, and I got flagged by YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got flagged by YouTube.
It's a great headline, great clickbait.
It was,
for sure.
and we got a notification that said not suitable for children under 18, and so like it like restricted our account.
That's probably true.
Yeah, but
your podcast in general is probably not.
Correct. Yeah, but I mean, but the message is,
Yeah.
it's just how it's delivered, right? But yeah, we will not call this one goat fucker.
Yeah.
We're trying to
call
come
it-
up with better titles because
Yeah.
we're really bad on the front end
Cow,
stuff.
dog,
Yeah.
something.
Anything fucker.
Yeah.
I won't imply anymore that you fuck animals.
Yeah, not mosquito.
No.
Yeah. Keep the mosquitoes away from
Yeah,
me.
it could be how to not get fucking malaria.
Yeah.
Like that could
That's
be
pretty
the
good.
title.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
I do this all the time. We went through everything here, but the last 2 minutes of the show, I always give it back to the guest to make sure that they close with whatever is on their heart so that everybody can get what it is that you wanted to make sure they got before we leave.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, so For me, it is to surround yourself with the right people, to network with the right people, to get yourself in containers, not to plug RoofCon, but like RoofCon. It doesn't have to be RoofCon. For him, he has the cult culture movement. For me, I have Revolt. There's plenty of others. Just get yourself in the right room and surround yourself with the right people. We know what it's like to be a leader, to be someone that at times you feel like you have nobody to lean on. You don't know who to call. You've got this situation going on today in my speech. I'm going to give a list of like 8 really, really hard situations I've been through in my life, seasons that I call them in my speech, that I didn't know how I was going to get through them. And I was, you know, if you want to call it depressed, stressed, whatever, but I was brought through it. Again, for me, I call it God. God brought me through it. I'm thankful for that. And I'm on the other side of it. Now we go to these retreats and we look at people who are in one of those seasons and we tell them, you've been through this season before. This one might feel like a taller mountain, but you're going to get through it. You're going to get over it. And you're going to be able to impact someone who's been through it. So we talked about opportunity to lead. When you think about opportunities to lead, think about all of your struggles, all of your messes that you can turn into your message, as that saying goes. For me, you know, one of the ones is that story with the ex-girlfriend's dad. How can I use that story to help another kid who is not believed in by people around him? Maybe he's not believed in by his dad, his mom, whoever, but pour into that person, help them through it, and use all your dirty past, the things that sucked and hurt, to help other people.
Love that. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for coming and doing a second episode. This one really fucking landed for me. I felt the passion. I felt the fire. I appreciate that. I know you appreciate that. You also know that we don't have sponsors. So Zyn, for all your nicotine needs. Cinnamon is my favorite. It's fucking delicious. So Zyn, try Zyn. We're gonna really try hard to get Zyn to sponsor us, so we want to put together a sizzle. No sponsors. I pay for all this shit. So here's what I'm asking. Share it. Share it with your friends if you got value out of this. If you didn't, then fucking don't. But if you got any type of value out of this, if you learned anything from Hunter today, from me today, please take the time and let other people know about it so that they can get the same value. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching. Love all of you. And remember, everybody, to be authentic or get the fuck out.